Hello, Facebook. Hello, YouTube. Or wherever else you might be watching this. Maybe my website, twixtarot.com. Shameless plug. It is time for me to do my weekly forecast. And it is Tuesday here. I will be using the SKT again. So I'm a day late. But yesterday was a weird day. And better late than never, I say. So I hope you've had a good week. I had an alright week. It was a bit of a weird week, actually. Just trying to think what happened. So I've been doing some temporary exam supervising work, so that went well last week. I did apply for a job last week. I chose to apply. I was declined, but that's okay. What else? My reading last week talked a lot about choices. I did have a lot of choices to make last week. There was a market that got canceled that was supposed to be on Friday. Got canceled. Was given the choice of dates to try and make up for it. But I'm already booked at other markets, so that was an easy choice to say no. Trying to think what else. I mean, we're faced with choices every day, aren't we? It didn't feel like a very successful week during the week. But my weekend was quite busy at the markets that I was booked in at. And yeah, that was quite tiring, but also quite exhilarating. Okay, so if you've never watched one of these before, I am going to pull 3 cards. But first I shuffle until it feels good to me, and then I will pick which pile here to use. And what I am feeling for is a wee zing in my physical senses. I'm not getting any zing today. Interesting. I think I'm just going to take the left pile. That's the one I usually take. Okay, so card number 1 is the spirit that will be with me the most this week, most present. Card number 2 is what I will need to prepare for. Or no, sorry, what is in my highest interest to prioritize. And card number 3 is what I should prepare for this week. Yeah, so let's zoom in just a smidge on those 3 cards. This is the 3-card forecast from Benebell Wen. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. From Benebell Wen's 22 Weeks with the SKT workbook. And it's one I've just really enjoyed. It gives me a little interesting way to look at the cards every week. So, the spirit most present is the Destroyer, or the 10 of Swords. So that is all about closure and sort of release, moving on from a situation or a way of thinking about something or an ideal. Interesting. I am not sure what that might be about, but I'm sure it will come to me this week. The second card here is what's in my highest interest to prioritize. So that's the Giver, the 6 of Orbs. And this one does kind of make sense to me. It's more around, reciprocal relationships and exchange of resources and energy, or at least that's the Rider-Waite-Smith, interpretation. So I do have a really big expo coming up this weekend that I have been invited to attend in somebody else's sort of stall placement. I am really hopeful that it goes really well for both of us, and I think this probably means that I need to, prioritize that equal exchange of energy between us and how we're manning the stall, how we're looking after each other, and making sure that things are fair and just in that business relationship. But also, equally, whenever I do readings for someone, that's an energy exchange. So making sure that I am watching my energy levels, because I think those 2 days will be very long and very tiring. So it will be in my best interest to prioritize, looking after myself and my resources during the weekend. The Three of Chalices here, the Kindred, is what I should prepare for. And I usually look at the third card here as sort of, the energy that might be coming in at the end of the week leading into next week. So to me, I've been looking very much forward to my weekly one-card session with my regular deep divers, my friends in the Facebook group that I help admin. I have missed them very, very much, and have missed our chats. So I think that this is probably about that, because that will be on Monday next week. So yeah, I wonder if that's what that's about. I also am very much overdue for some catch-ups with real-life friends here in New Zealand, and also elsewhere across the world. So I think that is me sort of coming up for air after my busy weekend, and, making sure that I am intentionally filling my cup by reaching out and refreshing those connections with my friends who I haven't talked to in a long time. Can also be about, I guess, my relationship at home with family as well. But this one is quite interesting. So the Destroyer here, I wonder if, I'm trying to think. It's hard for me to think on the spot while I'm talking to you all. Obviously, I haven't done any book diving here into the Book of Maps to see what Benebell has said. But if I had to guess, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't know exactly who is pictured here, but I'm pretty sure that might be a god of, I want to say, fate, or of severing strings. So I do feel like this is a release of sorts. I know it's the Destroyer, but I also think it is about releasing yourself from, the suffering of a situation that you've stayed in for far too long. So I'm just trying to think if there's anything that would sort of apply to in my life right now. I think I've been making it a point to really deal with things in real time. Maybe this is, the release of expectations on myself for things I thought I would finish. No, I shall not release those. No. Yeah, I will dig into this book just a little bit. I will turn around and grab my book of maps. Hold the line. You might hear some shuffling sounds as I grab it off my shelf. So, let's have a look together really quickly. Oh, you could probably hear the jingle jangle of my dog's tags. Okay, so 10 of Swords, if we have a quick look, because I am curious and I want you to get some real-time stuff as well instead of next week So the realm of tens is, 10 is the number of transformation, Benebell says. It is the mounting atop a peak and now the waning or unwinding period down to repeat the cycle in another incarnation. In the Kabbalistic tree of life, the realm of trees arises from the Sephira Malkut, the emanation of the material world. It is the concentration of the four elements, fire, water, air, and earth, and Malkut comes not directly from God, but from God's creation. It is the planets and solar system. Malkut is the tangible form of all other divine emanations. It is the great potential that man is capable of, the spirits of the burdened one, the joyous one, the destroyer, and the dynasty. The 10 of scepters is the materialized labors and trials born from key 10, the wheel of life. Likewise, the 10 of chalices is materialized by happiness arising from the turns of the wheel. The 10 of swords is materialized pain when the wheel turns in the direction of destruction. And the 10 of orbs is the greatest human materialization of prosperity that is possible from the wheel of life. So if I look here, we've got the 10 of swords and the page of swords here. So it says Malkut of vow of Yod-He Vav-He. Let's see what else we've got here. So I'm going to skip over to the swords. Come on. There we go, the destroyer. So this one says, a shamaness channels the destroyer of obstacles. We are seeing her physical and spiritual forms merging, and so she appears with 6 arms. She stands over a slain prostrate figure clothed in the colors of Malkuth, the Kabbalistic correspondence for the tens. The figure's right hand is a sign of benediction, symbolic of the great authority this slain figure had held. In Taoist magic, this hand mudra is the sword or pen indicating one who commands the spirit world. On the 4th finger, here it says, and this is a ring of sovereignty. In medieval times it was believed that a vein ran from the 4th finger of the left hand straight to the heart, the vein of love, vena amoris. The shamaness is wearing a Mongolian deal robe, a traditional clothing style of Central Asia. Let me zoom out so you all can see that. The one depicted here, characteristic of several Mongolian tribes, is made of silk and brocade with accents of fleece. So this says this was inspired from the 14th and 15th centuries, and the tradition here depicted here is Bu Morgol, and I probably said that very wrong, so I apologize. Commonly referred to as the practice of Mongolian shamanism. So it goes into the specifics on the headdress here. Talks about her right boot features outward spirals while her left boot features inward spirals. Can't see that at all, really. Maybe that was from a different version of the artwork of the card, because, yeah, that's completely covered. And then they talk about the structure behind in the background of the card here. Being an ovu or an obo, which is a shrine or an altar consisting of stones and wood, where offerings were left to the sky god. And according to Mongolian tradition, when you encounter one of these, you're to stop and walk in a circle around it 3 times clockwise to bless yourself with good luck and protection. It says, likewise, when the Ten of Swords appears in your reading, encountered along your spiritual journeys, press your second and third fingers together, side by side, and trace a circle around the card, going clockwise 3 times, reciting the following 3 times. Great heavens, protect me and safeguard me from treachery. What else do we have here? So there's a lot going on in this card. So we've got oh no, I don't know if I can pronounce this. An Emnebado Mensudar, which is a treatise on the magical medicine, or a Mongolian Buddhist grimoire. So that is, if I flip back to the card artwork, I wonder where that would be depicted. Is that, oh, that must be on the drum. So this is quite an in-depth chapter here. I will read the rest of it in my own time. But I will, so it goes really much deeper into the practice of shamanism across different continents and cultures. But if we go to the card meaning, it's got a wee quote from Oswald Wirth from Tarot of the Magicians that says, "In order to renew occultism, let us not be afraid of killing the old masters." So I guess that is a way of saying, just because things were thought of a certain way previously and done up a certain way previously doesn't mean that's how they should be done now, and it doesn't mean that that is the best way to do things now. So the card meaning says, the destroyer spirit might initially feel ominous, but it represents a spiritual catharsis. A catharsis is a sense of purging or purification. In Platonism, a catharsis is needed before you can advance on to receive esoteric knowledge. So this is about first dismantling, the previous ideas that you've held, and taking a good look at your beliefs and the systems that you've previously subscribed to, and that you were indoctrinated with, and really evaluating these and dismantling these so that you can build your own way of thinking. It can also be a sign of toxic positivity. Someone in your life is enabling you or encouraging you to not stand up for yourself, or allowing your own bad behavior to continue. So I will have a deep think about whether that statement applies. Could also be a treachery, biting the hand that feeds. Destruction or dismantling of that which has been institutionalized. Could also be an omen that you are to be a disruptor, but influential members of society are trying to hold you back. So you want to facilitate progress and change, but at the cost of peace and perhaps even short-term prosperity. And it says, when the Ten of Swords appears in your reading, perhaps you've been burying your ostrich head in the sand, and Spirit wants you to look up. You're trying to pretend that everything is fine, that you're fine, but there is nothing wrong, when in truth there is quite a bit that requires your immediate attention. Okay, so I guess I'm just being asked to take a closer look on what I'm ignoring, and if there is any action that needs to be taken here to shake things up. So that's interesting, and I will probably do some journaling on that. Let's look at card number 2, the Six of Orbs, the Giver. So card number 2. Pretty sure orbs comes last in the chapters here. Here we are, 6 of orbs, the giver. So 6 of orbs. It says, above a hand reaches down to give, below a hand reaches up to receive. And yet, from an equivalent perspective, the hand below sends up to give, and above a hand reaches out to receive. The lower hand in the illustration wears a kara, an iron bracelet, symbolizing the never-ending presence of divinity. In the foreground, the orb in the hand, with the assurance of more to follow, expresses the spirit of the Thoth interpretation for the 6 of discs, success. Balancing scales show 2 orbs being measured and found to be of equivalent weight. At its center fulcrum, the Sikh symbol for Ik Onkar, expressing the core belief of faith, there is one universal divinity. And then it goes into a little bit about Sikhism, which espouses class, racial, and gender equality and humanitarian values. Talks about the doorway between the hand above and the hand below, which must be this, I think. And in the background, there's a man and a woman extending their right hands towards each other, exchanging gifts. The woman gifts the man a mango fruit, a symbol of love, affluence, and good fortune, and material fulfillment. The man gifts the woman with a persimmon fruit, a symbol of longevity, divine knowledge, and spiritual fulfillment. So it really is a card about balance. So the mango harvest season is after the spring equinox, and the persimmon harvest season is around the autumnal equinox. So there's balance all over that card. And it says, the card meaning, when the giver appears in your reading, a gain in prosperity is coming your way. There is attainment. You're being honored and valued for who you are. You are seen. What you did not have before, you shall now receive. This is the spirit of patronage. And the giver is also a spiritual reminder to pay it forward. The blessings conferred upon you are the same blessings for you to confer upon others. So that's a good reminder as well, that if I'm in a good place to receive, to make sure that I'm also, paying that forward to others as well. It says Crowley describes this card as the card of settling down. And yet change is coming. Your dreams will be possessed by the power to shift your reality. So this could be seen as a karmic or divine blessing that will materialize as the success I've been seeking to achieve. So that's awesome, I think. A little bit more of a positive spin than I was putting on it originally in my quick interpretation. Okay, so that's nice. It is in my highest interest to prioritize success. I think that's pretty much every week, right? And then card number 3, the Kindred, the 3 of Chalices. Oops. I think she does the 3s and then the court cards. There we go. The realm of 3s is fruition, and that is in Bina. And it shares the same spiritual attributes as the shields or the queens in the tarot through Bina. what else does it say here? So, Bina in Bria, understood through the Three of Chalices and the Queen of Chalices, the Ivory Shield, is proof of the divination through cause. Okay, here we go. Three of Chalices, the Kindred. The Norse maiden mother crone from the Viking Age Scandinavia combine their gifts for the power of three. They are shamanic priestesses and seers. In Old Norse, they are the Seedkonur. The Sidir was a practice of magic, a practice that encompassed shamanic visionary journeying. The term Sidkona has often been translated to mean witch. In many contexts, it's used interchangeably with the term vulva. So these were known to venerate the goddess Lady Freya, associated with both love and war, beauty, sex, prosperity, and Sidir. In Old Norse, one of her epithets was Gifn, meaning the giver, or she who gives prosperity. Thus implied in this key is the invocation of Freya by the three Sidkunur. Freya's name, spelled out in Elder Furthark runes, is etched into the rim of each chalice. Fehu, Raido, Iwaz, Jera, and Anzus. It's funny this card has come up because I recently started reading about the Sator magic square that's pictured in this card. So I will enjoy reading this at my own pace. But if we skip to the card meaning here, we've got the kindred represents human bonding, affection, and trust, which are the bedrock of a beneficent society. Your society is only as strong as its interpersonal solidarity. Here we see your bonds are strong. Your bonds are providing you with an incredible source of power. This is a card of happy fruition. Wounds will heal, comfort comes after having been dealt sorrow. Relief is coming. So that's something to look forward to, and I'm so happy about that. It says, as the Lord of Abundance, the Three of Chalices in the tarot pretends good tidings of joy. There will be an overflowing fullness in your heart, and you will enjoy the blessings of affluence. When this card appears to you, your own magnetic attracting power has drawn what it is you most seek toward you. One last step of action from you to ensnare that energy and make it yours is needed. One last ritual dance, one final sealant over all the efforts you've dedicated. And then here we've got sort of almost some, I think, charms or invocations here. One is against harm from an enemy. One is against all kinds of suffering and danger. And then there's a prayer of protection from all kinds of dangers that we could go into. And that is pretty cool. So I will look forward to seeing what those are all about. So yeah, again, in summary, some kind of release here, or shake up or closure, putting something to an end is going to happen this week. Or maybe it's something I just need to deal with and realize that I haven't been okay with. And then I am being called to prioritize success and paying it forward here, and, equal flow of energy. And then To prepare for, I've got the Kindred, or the Three of Chalices, which is, the good things coming from my community and the folks who care about me, and using that as sort of a way to ward off negativity, which is pretty cool. So if you've made it this far, thank you again for joining me, while I mumble to myself and flip through pages. But I hope you've had a good week, and would love to hear what you do for yourself every week, to further your tarot study or practice. And yeah, I'll catch you next week.